My job in the U.S. Air Force was working in bioenvironmental engineering. Part of my job in tracking the health hazards was to look at any time someone wanted to buy a chemical. It was ordered through a system, and in that system I had to go in there and say, you know, the country we're in, we're not allowed to use this. We need to substitute it out with something a little less hazardous. I want to say around 2006, I started kind of opening my eyes to how the military wasn't really what I thought it was. And people approached me knowing what I did for a living and said, have you ever heard of chemtrails? Well, I hadn't. So I went online and I looked at chemtrails. I saw a lot of, debunking, a lot of sites that were just kind of calling it a conspiracy theory. And I thought, well, geez, this is what I do for a living. Preventive health, making sure that people are not getting sick. To summarize it, in an attempt to debunk this conspiracy theory as I thought it was, I didn't debunk it. It literally changed my life. One day I was going through that computer system, which if you want to look it up, it's called an Air Force Form 3952. It is the approval of hazardous materials. I was finding tons and tons of large quantities of aluminum, barium, strontium in the forms of oxides and sulfates. One of the legal requirements in approving these is looking at what used to be called the material safety data sheet. On that sheet, it's going to list the manufacturer. These electronic MSDSs did not have a manufacturer name, so I asked the question, what is this being used for? I never got an answer, so I didn't approve it. And then the heat came down. Why aren't you? Are you behind on your 3952s? And at that point, my demonization began. Because I thought, if this is real and they are spraying this, it's going to get to the ground. So I conducted air sampling, I conducted soil sampling, and I was getting high levels of these contaminants. When I started asking the question again under a new commander, I never in my life thought I would have somebody look me in the face and tell me, I am questioning you. Is there something wrong with you? You've been looking really depressed lately. I can put you under mental evaluation for up to 120 days. Who would take care of your daughter? As soon as I heard that, I knew. And I thought, I've spent 9 years of my life trying to protect human health, and here we are violating law after law after law. Instead of protecting the people, we are poisoning the people. And that geoengineering is occurring, it's been occurring, it is not new, and your tax dollars are funding this. I've had pilots come forward. I've had people come forward that actually load the canisters on the planes. These people don't come forward because they are afraid that they're going to end up like Snowden. So many people want to ask why. Why is this occurring? From weather modification to weather weaponry. There's numerous reasons under Agenda 21 and tons of theories. So I just want everyone to know and understand that of all things, of all the freedoms that we are losing, geoengineering is the #1 issue that we are facing, because you can have guns and money and you can have everything. If you don't have food and water and you are dying of respiratory or neurological illnesses, what does it matter?
Why are tanks and helicopters rolling through Chicago right now? And why isn't anyone talking about it? Officially, they'll tell you it's just training exercises, but since when do training drills look like urban lockdowns? Entire city blocks cordoned off, residents reporting the sound of low-flying choppers shaking their windows at 2 a.m. Cameras banned, footage scrubbed, and anyone asking questions brushed off as paranoid. And here's where it gets stranger. Chicago isn't the first city. Similar exercises have been spotted in Los Angeles, New York, even Houston. Always at night, always without warning. Some say it's preparation for martial law. Others believe it's about conditioning the public to accept military presence on U.S. soil as normal. But think about the timing: economic unrest, election season chaos looming, rising crime. Is this really practice, or is it positioning? Why is the military really out in Chicago, and what are they getting ready for? You be the judge. Awake minds don't blend in, they lead.
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold.
Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsourced parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not savings. Bought houses they couldn't afford. Played video games. Gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured. Divorce rates doubled. Birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito?
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity. People eating cheap slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier.
A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight.
When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to.
Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground and don't give up on sound money.